Grand Rising, Grand Rising. So there's a couple different things that I wanted to talk about. One of the things that I want to talk about is how we normalize toxic traits during breakups. Okay, let's get into it. When we break up, 2025, first thing we do, break up. If you're in a relationship, you break up. There's no speaking, there's no talking, no texting, no communication whatsoever, whether you have kids or not. If you're married, the first thing you do is run to the courts. I want a divorce. Okay, but when you got married and you decided to marry this person, did you go to the courts and ask them, is this a good person for me to marry? Did you go to the courts and you ask them, is this someone who you think is a good fit for me? No, we didn't. We went based off of our own feelings. So explain to me. I really don't get it. How, when we break up, the first thing we do is run to the courts, put the courts and DCS in your lives when they had nothing to do with it in the first place. But we get all in our feelings when you bring mama into it, when you bring daddy into it, when you bring your brothers, your friends. If you talk to anybody else about the things going on within your relationship, that's frowned upon, right? But we can go to a government agency and put them all in our shit. I don't get it. Another thing, co-parenting. My ex-husband and I split. I understand that I'm not who he wants. There's certain things that we just can't get past. Am I there for him? Absolutely. Is he there for me? Absolutely. But one thing that I saw and I noticed real quick, throughout the breakup, when we are telling our friends and families, y'all, we split, but we're still co-parenting, we're still cordial, well, y'all still together. Y'all still doing the nasty. Why would we break up if we still wanted to do that? Why would we split up and separate if we still wanted to move as one, as a relationship, as a couple? Okay. So, friends, family, trying to push things that is already a hard situation, y'all. Like, it's hard to break up and co-parent in a healthy lifestyle. When we split up, I was a stay-at-home mom. He was a provider. He did damn good bringing home the money. No, this is not a shaming video. Not gonna do it. He provided, and I took care of the home. When we separated, he was very good at making money. Did not know how to budget because I did that the entire time we were together. He would tell me how much money he brought home, and I put everything where it needed to be. No questions asked. I knew what had to be done. I budgeted everything out by the week, by the month, by the day. Didn't matter. Grocery shopping, bills, fun things, like leisure. It didn't matter. He made the money. I put it where it goes. So, fast forward, separation. He's making his money, gets his own apartment. I have the house. All of my appliances break down. I have no clue how to take care of these appliances. I have no clue how to keep the house running, even though it was my job to take care of the home. There was so many things that he was doing that I had no clue he was doing. With that being said, there was so many things that I was doing that he had no clue that I was doing. So when we separated, all of those things became apparent. And I didn't call the courts asking for money. I didn't call the homies asking for money. I didn't run to the streets trying to find a new man. I called him. Hey, my refrigerator's out. The dryer's not drying. The stove's not working right. what do? We fought over it for a little bit and decided that it was best for me to go back from Oklahoma to Tennessee, stay with him for a little bit until I can get another refrigerator, get some more appliances, and get on my feet, right? I go to Tennessee and I realize he's been making the money, but it hasn't been going where it's supposed to. And I never thought to ask him, hey, you know, how are you budgeting for the next month? How are you budgeting for the next 6 months? What's your plans for the next year, 5 years? I just assumed that if he didn't want to be with me, he would figure it out. Which brings me to healthy co-parenting. Okay. So we have healthy co-parenting. He loses his apartment. I still have the house in Oklahoma. It's not a question. We're packing your shit. We're going back to Oklahoma. We're going to get on our feet. We're going to do this shit together. Just not together. Emphasis on the not together. Y'all, I didn't realize how hard it would be. Because there's no hard feelings. There's no... And I'm not talking about situations to where you are in a physical threat. You are in a domestic violence situation. You are in a not safe situation. I'm not talking about those types of situations. This man would never raise his voice to me. He would never put his hands on me. The only thing that I can say is that he didn't have... He doesn't know how to be faithful. Let's not sugarcoat it. He didn't know how to be faithful, and I didn't know how to love properly. I came from a broken home where there was a lot of trauma in upbringing. So there was a lot of yelling, a lot of degrading from my mom to my dad that didn't allow me to see how a man is supposed to be respected. In our breakup, I did a lot of self-evaluations, a lot of self-healing, a lot of what did I have to do with the problems, because it wasn't all him, and I would be lying to self if I thought for a second the problem is only him. If he's cheating, there's a reason why he's cheating. What am I doing as a person that makes me feel, or makes him feel like he's not getting what he's looking for at home? I was nagging. I was constantly afraid that he was going to leave, so I'm vigilant. Like I'm watching this man like a hawk. You hear me? Like watching him, like studying him. I know his eating habits, his sleeping habits, the way he works when he's on his break, what he does when he's on his break. Man, I studied this man down to a T. But I did it too much. I nagged him. I rode his back. I mothered him. And when that became too much and I felt like I was mothering him, it came out of my voice. It came out in my words. And when it came out in my words, it degraded him to a point to where enough was enough. I can't fault him for that. I cannot blame him for that. All I can do is take self-accountability. He has to pay for the fact that I no longer trust him because because of the infidelity. He has to deal with the fact that I didn't respect him. No matter how hard he worked, no matter how many jobs he had, no matter whether I was picking him up, dropping him off from work, the man would come in smelling like perfume. I remember one day this man came in smelling like cucumber melon. Used to be one of my faves. Now, don't come around me smelling like no cucumber melon. It is what it is. Side talk, back off talk. Y'all, I'm ADHD. You just gotta work with me. But my point to the fact is, nobody talks about how hard it is to love someone, not be in love with them, but to love them in an agape form, knowing that you're not together, wanting what's best for them, but being so close that it's damn near impossible to move on. Because let's be real, what man wants to be with a woman who's living with her ex? What woman wants to be with a man that's living with his ex? And if we can't figure out how to make it on our own, how do we ever move on? These are the things that I wish people talked more about. I wish people talked more about being there, showing up as a unit for the kids, as parents, regardless of what's going on within the relationship, whether there's a relationship or not. I wish people talked more about the tears and the voids and the frustrations that you feel knowing you have to let that person go and move on and allow them to build relationships with other people, knowing that you're still showing up as a wife even though you're not. Where do you draw the lines?